ATL.GA Faithful, my people. I'm the Douglas Carter, back on the scene doing my thing, and I just want to say I appreciate you and the work that you do. The draft has come and gone. No more mocks. Now we're on to rookie training camp, mini camp, and then training camp, and whatever other moves we're going to make in free agency before the season starts. So get yourself your choice beverage, get yourself a snack or something, kick back, listen to me kind of go over in depth the Atlanta Falcons roster. I'm going to touch on the NFC South as a whole. We will have the schedule review on the 11th, which is in a couple days. I just want to give a shout out to all my new subscribers. I appreciate y'all. Like, share, sub, comment. I get back to all my comments, and I enjoy chopping it up with y'all. I'm going to keep it, all the way. There might be some things I say that, some people don't like, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. We just going to keep it respectful on my channel. Let's go ahead and get straight to it. I want to go ahead and check out our rivals drafts. Shout out to Big Low Country. Shout out to Smitty Sports Machine. Shout out to Uncle Steve. Shout out to Pound for Pound. Shout out to Wolf. Shout out to all Atlanta Falcons content creators. I was watching the roundtable with Big Q and Big James, and I think it's Rashad and Dave from Panther Nation. And, they had a nice discussion. They say it's a slumber party. They say everybody's sleeping on Ritter. I believe everybody is sleeping on Ritter. And I put a comment on there saying, once the Falcons make it to the playoffs, I'm going to chop that video up, and that panel is going to have to eat some crow talking about Desmond Ritter. Anyway, I got a lot to touch on. Like I said, I'm going to try not to leave anything out. So let's go ahead and get to the New Orleans Aints and their draft, okay? Excuse me. So they drafted Clemson tackle Brian Bresee with their first pick, and I like Bresee. If you check my channel, I had a mock to us a couple times. Speaking of mocks, also, I shared, a couple mocks, and those were the ones that I really liked and I thought we could do. I did do some more mocks, and I actually had all the players that we drafted mocked to us besides Jovan Gwynn. I did not have him. All the other players, I'll show you in the cut. I'll throw it up here and give you my thoughts on the players that we drafted. Okay, y'all, so here's a quick look at our 2023 draft class. Bijan Robinson, number 8. Matthew Bergeron, number 38. Zach Harrison, number 75. Clark Phillips, number 113. DeMarco Hellams, number 224. And Jovan Gwynn, number 225. So with this, I took Bijan Robinson at number 8 in draft data base mock draft. This was April 19th, so it was really only about a week before the draft, and I really did not see this pick coming, y'all, until about a week before the draft, and then I thought it could be a real possibility. So your dog missed on this one right here, but I kind of started to see it pick up steam, and I went ahead and did a mock and took him at number 8 right here. Now, all of these other drafts right here go back to January. I mocked Matthew Bergeron to the Atlanta Falcons January 24th. But as you can see to the left, it says round 3, pick 75. So I do think we reached a little bit, trading away a draft pick and going up to number 38 to get him. But my hope is that he comes in, day 1 starter, and shores up our offensive line. Watched his tape. You know, he has all the traits to be a starting guard in the NFL. And he just has to come into camp, get adjusted, get situated, learn from the vets, and get to business. Now, I slotted Zach Harrison actually to us in round 3 at pick number 75 all the way back in January 13th. And that's where we took him. Not super productive as far as sacks go, but he's disruptive, and I think he can come in and be a solid piece to our defense, which is stacking up real nice. So I'm just showing y'all that I mocked these guys to us just to let y'all know that I wasn't far off on my thoughts early in the draft process. But as the draft went on and the months went on, you know, I kind of deviated and shared some other mocks that I thought that I would like more, honestly. So then, you know, January 26th, I did a mock and I picked up Clark Phillips III at round 4, 113, where we actually got him. And a lot of people are saying this is an absolute steal. I really liked Clark Phillips when I reviewed his tape, man. He's a little smaller, but he's a dog. He's a ball hawk. He will put a hit on you. Game is similar to Witherspoon that got drafted in the top 10. But, yeah, I like this pick right here. And I think he can come in and make a push for a starting player, whether it's in slot or challenge Okudah for outside corner, okay? I did share this mock January 23rd. I took DeMarco Hellams round 7, 224, which is where we got him, and I really like his tape as well. He is a really good sound tackler at safety. I'm sure y'all heard he led Alabama in tackles. And anytime you can add a player from Alabama or UGA, you know you getting a quality player that can come in and contribute to the team immediately. So all the players we got, I did mock to us at one point or another, most of them early back in January, outside of Bijan Robinson. The only player I didn't have on my radar was Jovan Gwynn. And after checking his tape, he's a little undersized, but he's a dog as well. Man, he finishes blocks and he finishes them violently. So he will be another good depth piece for us and for our offensive line moving forward. Okay, so now that I showed y'all that, let's get back to the NFC South Division and see what our opponents did. The Aints, Brian Brisset, okay, I liked him. Isaiah Foskey, he was actually one of my favorite defensive ends / edges in this draft, okay? So they got 2 players I really liked. Keandre, I think it's Kendre Miller, the running back out of TCU. I really liked him as well. I do not know anything about the offensive tackle, Nick Saldiveri. I don't know much about Jake Haener, the quarterback out of Fresno State they picked up. But I did hear Big Q saying that, you know, what's their quarterback's name? Derek Carr went to Fresno, and he wants to mentor Jake Haener. So whatever that's worth. Minnesota safety Jordan Howden. Don't know much about him. Wake Forest wide receiver A.T. Perry. I really like this pick as well. Unfortunately, I like it, even though it's for the Aints. And just to make things clear, I'm not worried about the Aints. I'm not worried about Derek Carr. I'm not worried about their team as a whole. I think the Falcons do sweep them this year, and that's me. I will say that the Atlanta Falcons season really depends on Coach Arthur Smith and how creative he can get with our offense, because it hasn't been creative enough, in my opinion. And I have a question mark about our coach even though the players seem to like him, and we did good getting a lot of free agents in here. And I don't have the utmost confidence in our offensive coordinator Dave Ragone, and that's just me being honest. So really, I think we got the talent. There should not be any excuses this year for the Atlanta Falcons. We should definitely win this division. And if not, then Arthur Smith, I believe, is on the hot seat. So I hope he gets this offense humming, because we got the talent to put up 30 on any given Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whenever the game day is, So that is the New Orleans Saints draft. I'll give my grades on them later, but I do like Brisset, Foskey, Miller, and A.T. Perry for them, okay? Next, we'll go to the Carolina Kitty Cats. Okay, so we know they got Bryce Young, okay? Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. A lot of people liked him and had him mocked and was wanting to see him in Atlanta. I do think he is a pretty good receiver. Not sure about second round here, if that's when they took him. DJ Johnson, outside linebacker out of Oregon. Not too crazy about him, but, he has potential. Chandler Zavala, I was high on him. I was hoping the Falcons would take him in the 4th round and get an edge in the 2nd. We didn't do that. We got Bergeron, and we'll talk about Bergeron in a little bit. And then the Kitty Cats got safety Jamie Robinson out of Florida State, who I think is a good pick as well. Maybe like a late round steal. Okay, so they got 1, 2, 3, 4 really good players in their draft. I will say that. Now, to the Tampa Bay Yucks, they got Kalijah Cansey, defensive tackle, Pittsburgh. A lot of people are high on this kid, throwing out some very big name comparisons with him, like Aaron Donald. I don't know about all that. I will say I like the pick at number 19. Then they got Cody Mock, tackle out of North Dakota State. Another offensive lineman that I was really high on. Was kind of hoping the Falcons would get him, but we did not, and Tampa Bay did. Yaya Diaby, defensive end, Louisville. I really like him as well. I think he can develop into a solid pro. Savorcier Dennis, linebacker out of Pittsburgh. I liked him as well. So those first 4 picks I like for Tampa Bay. Payne Durham, tight end, Purdue, not too sure about him. Josh Hayes, cornerback out of Kansas State, not too sure about him. Trey Palmer, wide receiver out of Nebraska, I really liked him as well. So that's 5 picks that I really liked. And Jose Ramirez, linebacker, outside linebacker / edge out of Eastern Michigan. I like him. I like him too. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks that I really like from the Bucks. So just my initial thoughts. I will say, and it pains me to say this as a diehard Atlanta Falcons fan, but I believe the Bucks, well, say the Bucks, but the Yucks, the Kitty Cats, and the Aints, I believe I like their draft selections better than our Atlanta Falcons. That's not to say I don't like our draft. Let me go ahead and pull up our draft real quick. So I was excited during free agency. I think we added a lot of good pieces in free agency, especially on the defense side of the ball. I was really excited and amped up about the draft. And then as I watched our draft unfold, I was kind of more ho-hum, not real excited or enthused about our draft picks and where we picked them. I will say I would probably give the other 3 teams in our division a B+ on their draft. And I would probably give the Falcons a solid B, and I'll tell y'all why. Bijan Robinson at number 8. Like, I cannot be mad at that pick. Bijan Robinson is a special running back. He's going to do great things paired with Tyler Algier if Arthur Smith can figure out how to use him. Okay. I think the Falcons did not take a wide receiver in the draft because they believe Bijan is, capable, and they could see on film that he is capable of playing in the slot. And I would not be surprised to see Algier in the backfield with Bijan in the slot, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Jonnu Smith. We do have a lot of offensive weapons, and I trust in Desmond Ridder to use them and manage the game and win us this division. So with that 8th pick, I would have liked Jalen Carter, but I knew the Falcons were not going to go there with him because he needs a change of scenery, all the stuff he got going on off the field, and to stay in Atlanta, I don't think would be the best for him, and I don't think the management thought it would be the best either. But as far as character and personality and work ethic and ethos, the word that the Falcons use all the time, it was an easy pick, Bijan Robinson over Jalen Carter, because the Falcons do not have to worry about any character or off the field issues with Bijan Robinson, we think, because you never know, right?
What's the sense you get of where you don't fit in the offense? Because between you and Pitts and London and Ritter and Algier, everybody's kind of all on rookie contracts. And where do you fit in, you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, the offense is really good, with really good talent. And for me, I just want to be a piece in that offense, man, and do as much as I can, no matter where they line me up at. And I'm just trying to help the offense, obviously help the whole team, and make us the team that we are. And I know that the rushing attack is really, really good, and with a really good running back already. And man, I just want to go in there and just learn from him, and be a good teammate, and hopefully we can make something special happen out of it.
Just wanted to know how much you know about the Eagles and guys like Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham, and how long they've been in this league, and sort of anybody else, if anybody else you kind of pattern your game at.
Yeah, so I know Fletcher's there, and there's a lot of good players there. Really didn't look much into the team, but I know they got a good team, Super Bowl contenders, and I'm just planning on learning a lot when I get there.
Hey, Jalen, can you kind of describe how much the Eagles asked you about, what happened in January, obviously with that tragic situation, and also your pro day as well? Thanks.
They really didn't ask much about that accident that happened. It was pretty much getting to know me, and the love of the game I got for football, and just knowing my personality and stuff like that. And I don't really think they asked any questions about pro day. I think it was just more of just to get to know me and the guy that I am.
Hey, Jalen, what can you tell us about what happened at that pro day?
It was just me, I felt conditioned, but I guess I wasn't. And, that was just me. I should have conditioned a little more, or a lot more before the pro day.
During your visit with the Eagles, did you guys talk about scheme per chance? And if so, how similar is the scheme that you guys run with Georgia, similar to the one that you guys run or potentially could run here in Philly?
Yeah, we did talk about scheme, but for all the visits I took, almost every team talked about a scheme, and I can't remember exactly what we talked about.
So I just wanted to show, those clips of the interviews so you could see. I don't know if y'all seen Jalen Carter's interview, but if y'all compare the character in which these guys go about their business and how they represent themselves, I feel like, in my opinion, it's pretty easy to see why the Atlanta Falcons would not take a risk on Jalen Carter and go with the safe bet in Bijan Robinson. Now, I'm not knocking anybody. I hope Jalen Carter gets everything good and has a great career, and I hope the same for Bijan. But I just wanted to throw that out there, so if you hadn't seen, maybe you could see the difference between the two. 99.9% Bijan Robinson is going to be a stand-up guy on, off the field, in the community, all that. And he brings like generational type talent is what has been labeled to him at the running back position, and the tape shows it. So I'm not mad at Bijan Robinson. I would have liked to go defense. I would have liked to get Tyree Wilson, but the Raiders got him right before us. So Bijan Robinson, I give the pick a B+ because it is a little high for running back for me, but I hope he comes in here and lights it up, and I'm going to support everybody who put on that red and black. Second round pick, we moved up and traded one of our 4th round picks to get Matthew Bergeron, offensive tackle out of Syracuse. It is believed that we will just kick him inside, and he will be our starting guard. So I did some research on him. He seems like a good guy. I watched his tape. Seems like he is a good blocker, got a little mean, nasty streak in him. Might need to put on a couple more pounds in the NFL. But I think he will help solidify our offensive line. I did not like the fact that we moved up to get him. Yes, I heard all the stuff about Dallas, was thinking about getting him, but they chose to get Mozzie Smith. Dallas was actually thinking about getting him at the end of the 1st round, I believe. So the Falcons with that might have been like, well, somebody else is eyeing this guy, or other teams might really like him. So they moved up to get him. Hey, if you got conviction on it, move up to get him. He just better pan out and, solidify that line. So with that pick, I give it a B, maybe a B-, because I don't like the fact that we moved up and lost a draft pick. But I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for Bergeron, okay? Round 3, Zach Harrison, defensive end out of Ohio State. The good things about him is his measurables. He compares to a Tyree Wilson. I say like a poor man's Tyree Wilson because he didn't have the sack production. Ohio State is known for putting premier edge players in the NFL, but as far as Zach Harrison goes, his sack production wasn't what people were expecting at Ohio State. They were expecting a little bit more out of him. I will say this, after watching the tape of him, he has timely sacks, which is very important. He's solid in stopping the run, and when his team needed a big play, he usually came with that strip sack, which, I would love. He doesn't need to come into Atlanta and start right away. We got a lot of depth. He can learn. He can give somebody a break and come in and hopefully make, some big plays, or at least be solid. So I'm cool with Zach Harrison in round number 3. I think it's good value for him there. I will give that a B to B- as well. Just because of the lack of production and maybe kind of a project. But if Nielsen can coach this guy up and get him to use his tools and do it on a consistent basis, then it could possibly be a steal. Round 4, Clark Phillips III, corner out of Utah. Guy is a little bit undersized, 5'8", 5'9", about $180, 185. So that kind of works against him, and that's probably why he fell to the 4th round. But there's extreme value in this pick. I'm sure y'all been listening to other content creators, and if you haven't, definitely go check them out, hear their opinions. But he's a dog. He can play tight coverage. He gave Drake London, a run for his money when they faced off against each other in college. He's not scared to hit. He'll put a lick on you. He has 6 interceptions. He's a ball hawk. And he takes them back to the house when he picks them. They project him to probably be a starting slot corner. and I think he could do some damage there and help us a lot. So I like that pick. A lot of people think this is a major steal in round 4, and I tend to agree with them. I will give that pick a B+, close to a borderline A, just because of the value right there, okay? Then we had to wait all the way to round 7 since we traded our other pick to go up and get Bergeron. And then we got the safety out of Alabama, DeMarco Hellams, which I really like this guy. I mocked him here in the 7th round with one of the mocks that I shared on my channel. He led Alabama in tackles. He's a sound tackler. He's a smart player, and he can come in and definitely help our DB room and on special teams right off the bat. Another good value pick. I actually give that pick an A to get him in the 7th round. I think that is a good steal. Round 7, the next pick, 225, Jovan Gwynn, interior offensive lineman, South Carolina, played guard, played some center. I didn't know much about this guy. I was on one of the Big Lowe's chats, and I said I couldn't really grade it because I didn't really check the tape. So I checked the tape on him, and this is a nice pick, a nice steal, some nice depth. Dude is nasty. Dude is a beast. He finishes blocks. And when I mean he finishes them, I mean he smashes the opponent into the ground. He's a little undersized, but I think he has the work ethic to put on some more weight and put on some more strength. And his attitude is the kind of attitude you want on your football team. I watched his tape also against Georgia, and he held his own against Georgia's elite defense. So that makes me grade this pick a little higher, and I like it. I'm going to give it a B, a solid B. So I gave the other 3 teams in our division like B pluses on their draft, and I'm going to give the Falcons a solid B. Not as an exciting draft as I would have liked. A couple question marks in it, you know, in my opinion, but that is what I think about our draft. Now I want to go ahead and get into, let me get my red and black poker chips off here, because, you know, if anybody want to play some Texas Hold'em or throw some spades, you know, I'm always down for that. It's red and black all day. I will have some music and stuff coming to my channel soon as well. A whole bunch of things I'm working on for my channel, so y'all stay tuned for that stuff. On paper, I'm looking at our team, and I know we have brought in some undrafted free agents. We have brought in some people from the XFL. I think Perry Hart, wide receiver out of Georgia State. We signed him. I checked his tape. Decent, but nothing really eye-popping or outstanding to me. Just like a depth piece, in my opinion. I'm glad to get somebody from Georgia State, though. You know, I like to keep this team, and I think Terry Fontenot, they like to keep this team with some homegrown talent in it. And, you know, I'm all about that. So on paper, we're looking pretty good, okay? Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke, right? I think Desmond Ridder is going to lead this team. I think he's way better than people think. And it could just be my red and black blood that's pumping through me. He's telling me that, but when I check it out and do the research on the guy, I think he's going to shock a lot of people in the NFL. So Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke, Drake London, a healthy Kyle Pitts, Cordell Patterson, Tyler Algier, Bijan Robinson, Mac Hollins, Jonnu Smith, Scotty Miller, Kadell Hodge, Keith Smith, who I think is really important to this offense. And then you got, you know, some other pieces just on the depth chart in offense. I don't know if Felipe Franks is going to make the cut. You got Jared Bernhardt, the wide receiver. Let's see what he does. John Fitzpatrick, another tight end out of UGA. He should be coming back healthy and can add to the team. You got wide receivers that I ain't really heard of. Josh Ali, Rashad Henry. You got running back B.J. Baylor. Tight end Parker Hesse, Frank Darby, I think is still on the roster, Tucker Fisk, Keelan Harris, Xavier Malone, Justin Marshall, John Rain, Clint Rakovich, Carlos Washington, and Avery Williams, we know is a contributor. These other names I just threw out at the end, we don't know if they're even going to make the squad, okay? But our key starters, our key contributors are all prime, big impact players. Arthur Smith just has to figure out how to use them in our offense so we can put up, numbers, okay? I do have 2 questions about players that are not on the roster. I liked Michael Pruitt as a tight end. I don't know what the deal is with him, if he's going to sign somewhere else. He's a free agent, and we haven't signed him back yet. And then Rashaan Evans, our linebacker, I really wanted to sign him back. They were saying that they were in discussions with signing him back, but it hasn't happened yet, so I don't know if that's going to happen. Okay, y'all, I had to throw a quick chop up in there. I know my homie Wolf, he says no edit, but I got to edit this because I skipped out on the offensive line somehow, but we're going to have to go ahead and run through those names because it's a solid front, in my opinion. Caleb McGarry, Jake Matthews, Chris Lindstrom, Matt Hennessy, Drew Dahlman, and new addition Matthew Bergeron. Continuity, I always say it's a big thing at any level of this sport, especially when you're talking about the offensive line, okay? And we bring in all the pieces back that started for us and held it down and gave us that number 3 rushing attack with addition of Matthew Bergeron to enhance that guard spot that we were plugging and fill gapping, stop gapping, whatever you want to call it. The depth we got behind the starters is Jermaine Ifedi, Kyle Hinton, Jonathan Harrison, the new addition, Javon Gwynn, which I really like his tape. He's going to be a solid depth piece. Ethan Greenidge, another new addition from the Aints. Tyler Vrabel, who has starting caliber play in his bloodline, Justin Schaefer, the UGA dog. Let's see if he can improve from his rookie year. Ryan Nuzile, Joshua Miles, and then Jalen Mayfield. And we all know the deal with him, whether he's going to be able to come back and help or if we're going to have to cut bait on him. We all know he got thrown in the fire, but hey, that's what it is. So that's the plug I had to put in here. The offensive line is solid. And other things I just want to speak on. I seen the clip. I think Tidy put it out there, Atlanta Bird Gang. Check them out of Young Joe performing at Grady Jarrett's birthday, and that was all cool. Let's get all that play out the way and get ready for the season. Yeah, so there was a couple other things I wanted to touch on, but maybe we'll get in that a little bit later. Anyway, that's the chop up right there. Moving on to our defense, we got Troy Anderson, Jesse Bates, Calais Campbell, Lorenzo Carter, Bud Dupree, Arnold Ebiketie, Caden Ellis, Eddie Goldman, Daquan Graham, Richie Grant, Grady Jarrett, Jeff Okudah, David Onyemata, AJ Terrell, Michael Walker. He's a question mark to me, but he's on the roster. And D. Alford, Cornell Armstrong. These are like second tier. Jalen Dalton, Dorian Etheridge. Been waiting for him. I had high hopes for him. Let's see what he could do. Joe Gaziano, another new addition, Darren Hall, Zach Harrison, the guy we drafted from Ohio State. Jalen Hawkins is still here. DeMarco Hellum's a new addition. You still got Timmy Horn, Mike Hughes, a new addition. We got D'Angelo Malone, Adi Ogundeji, still had high hopes for him, still waiting to see what he does. And then, the new addition, Clark Phillips. And then to round out the roster, some people I'm not too familiar with, Micah Abernathy, David Ty Davis, Kenneth and Kuchawu. I'm butchering these names, y'all. Javelin Goudry, Matt Hankins, Mike Jones Jr., Nate Landman, which I like Nate Landman, Dylan Mabin, Jamal Peters, and John Reed. Now, some of these players might have been cut or moved already, but this is on paper. And, you know, we got Younghoe Koo and Bradley Pinion as our kickers. So I feel good about our roster. I feel good about our offense. I think it can be explosive. I expect to win the division. I think our defense is going to be a top 15 defense in this league. And I think we're going to move up the sack charts. Okay, we got a lot of good depth, man. So anybody we put in, if somebody needs a break, the next person is fresh and they're a baller, a playmaker. So I feel good about that. But this is just paper. So this is what this means to me. Okay, you can have all the stuff you want on paper, la-di-da, that looks all good. Now the Atlanta Falcons got to go out there and actually make it happen. So Arthur Smith and all the coaches, let's make it happen. And I think Ryan Nielsen is going to be a good coach. And Jerry Gray with the DBs and helping Ryan Nielsen, I think our defense is going to be really good. Arthur Smith and Dave Ragone. The offense concerns me a little bit because, although we do have a lot of weapons, how are you going to use them? You know, are you going to keep defenses off balance and use everybody to their potential? Or are you going to just be too stale and do the same thing over and over and not learn from your mistakes? So the hope is that Arthur Smith learns from his mistakes, gets this talented group together and goes and wins the NFC South. The division is up for grabs. It's going to be a competitive division. The Aints are going to try to do their best to do whatever they can. The Yucks are going to try to do their best, and the Kitty Cats are going to try to do their best. And who knows, Bryce Young could come out and absolutely light it up. Derek Carr could come out and absolutely light it up. He's done it before. Now, the Yucks got a quarterback situation, but who knows? You don't know year to year. And Desmond Ridder, I think he's that guy. He just has to come out and prove it this year. And then we can serve up a nice plate of crow to the rest of the NFC South. So that's what I got for y'all, man. We're going to end it like that. ATL, let's hunt. Just keep it rolling. You know, let's keep the positive energy going. And let's get ready for that season and get ready for that schedule release. We know the opponents, but we'll soon find out the times and dates. As far as that, I'm just going to say I appreciate everybody, and I hope you have a blessed rest of your day or night. Thank God works. 1.